the hell?
I thought we were having a moment.
Mother Knows Best, right? Once Upon a Time is back, and Season 7, Episode 11 is all about how far a mother will go to protect her child. Let's break down Secret Garden right here on What Happened. Hello there, Oncers, Lisa here, and it has been a while. Like, after months of waiting, Once Upon a Time is finally back and kicking off the final 12 episodes with a bang. And yes, I said final 12 episodes because I'm kind of sure you've heard by now that this will in fact be the final season of Once Upon a Time. As of now, the only original cast member confirmed to return for the series finale is Jared Gilmore, but hopefully more names will be confirmed as we get closer to the finale. Now, like I said, it's been a while and it took me a moment to kind of remember what all happened in the first half of the season, but let's give the Cliff Notes version of this recap. First of all, the theme of this episode, or if there was a soundtrack for it, it would be this song.
Mother Knows Best.
So Mother Gothel, or Eloise Gardner, is trying to get her witch coven back together, and to do that, she needs the Amulet of Resurrection. She ends up getting it and using it to wake up Lucy, but to do that, someone had to be sacrificed, a life for a life, you know, and that person is Drizella, aka Ivy, or, well, it was supposed to be. In a shocking turn of events for Drizella, Victoria ends up sacrificing herself in Drizella's place, and Lucy indeed wakes up. But now we also find out there's a serial killer of sorts or a witch hunter on the loose in Hyperion Heights as well. The present day timeline and the flashbacks of course mirror each other, so in the flashbacks we see Zelena also sacrificing herself for her daughter Robin, but thanks to Robin, Zelena doesn't end up with the same fate as Victoria, which is obvious because she's in the Hyperion Heights storyline. It's also confirmed that Henry is indeed Lucy's father. Alrighty, moving on to the longer form of this recap. First, let's talk about our flashback or fairy tale storyline, which finds Zelena teaming up with Hook of all people in the name of love for a child. Honestly, I kind of do like this Hook, or should I say Nook and Zelena duo. Zelena's daughter Robin is all grown up and 18 and is dabbling in magic with her pals. Let's just say that Zelena is a really strict mom who does not want Robin taking after her when it comes to this magic stuff, so she comes in to break up their little party. Of course, Regina is the cool aunt who gave Robin their mother's spell book, which is what Robin's playing with. So yeah, Zelena's the uptight parent and Regina is the cool aunt. Of course, Zelena knows a thing or two about magic and she tries to warn Robin about playing with fire, but Robin is quick with her comebacks that definitely sting.
The only reason you think magic is dangerous is because you don't have it anymore.
Since Robin's so mad at Zelena right now, she heads home by herself, but on her way she drops a vial and poof, is transported somewhere, which is pretty easy to guess, right? Magic, she needs a mother figure, Mother Gothel's place. Zelena is now mad and portals to Tiana's place where Regina is hanging with Hook, Ella, and Henry and new baby Lucy. Zelena of course rips Regina a new one for trying to be a parent to Robin and undermining her and giving Robin that spell book, and she thinks now Gothel has taken Robin. Zelena is determined to find Gothel and get Robin back, and she wants to do it alone, but it turns out someone who definitely has a vendetta against Gothel wants to help her, and that is Hook, or Nook as Zelena likes to call him because he's the new Hook. After some hesitation, Zelena finally agrees to work with Hook, and they set off and end up finding Gothel's hidden chambers where she's holding a seance with none other than Madame Leota from the Haunted Mansion. They're not too happy to have their little party interrupted, and Gothel traps them in her chamber and zaps Hook when Robin actually comes in to save Hook and reveals to Zelena the worst news. She was not kidnapped, she ran away to be with someone who lets her be her own person and will teach her to use her magic. Zelena refuses to leave without Robin, so Gothel tells Robin to choose which mother knows best, and basically, yeah, that song from Tangled repeating over and over in this episode in my head. Robin chooses to stay, so Zelena and Hook have to leave. Zelena's now ready to give up and just let Robin do her thing, but Hook convinces Zelena that she doesn't need magic to save Robin. What she needs is love, and she just has to show Robin how much she means to her because, you know, duh, love conquers all. Well, Robin probably shouldn't have stayed because it turns out that Gothel is always up to something and she needed a sacrifice to help raise Madame Leota back to the living, and Robin is said sacrifice. As expected, Zelena and Hook show up just in time and Zelena tells Gothel to take her instead, so they switch places. But of course, Hook and Robin won't let Gothel separate another mother and child, so it's a good thing that Robin takes after her father a little bit more than her mother, and she grabs a nearby bow and arrow and shoots the Amulet of Resurrection out of Gothel's hands. Gothel and Leota then poof away, and Zelena and Robin have their makeup session. It turns out that Robin wasn't all that interested in magic anyway, and now is more interested in archery. Now it turns out that the amulet captured Robin's magic, and instead of taking her magic back, Robin gives it to Zelena, so now we know how Zelena got magical powers back. Now they just have to put the amulet in a safe place because they both know it can be very dangerous, of course, depending on whose hands it gets into, and that amulet, of course, appears in our present-day storyline. So let's go ahead and hop right over there. Lucy is still in her coma with Jacinda and Henry staying by her side, of course, worrying about her. The doctors still don't know what's wrong with her, so they decide to run some tests on Lucy's family, aka her parents, Nick and Jacinda. Henry takes a look at his book, though, on Lucy's bed, and after a pep talk from Regina, decides he wants to be tested too, just in case, because I think he's pretty curious to find out if all the things that Lucy has said about him being her dad are real. Zelena and Regina have now made it back to Hyperion Heights and are trying to figure out what they can do to break the curse without having either Lucy or Henry die, and the ultimate sister duo is back together once again.
And we're gonna do it. Together. Wicked and evil. No. Sisters.
Meanwhile, Gothel is trying to win Anastasia's trust and does so by exposing all of Victoria's dirty secrets, and well, of course, it works. Now Anastasia is staying with Gothel while Victoria is stuck down in that well with the one person who hates her the most, Drizella, and there's only one word to describe that, right? Awkward! Those two are able to escape, though, when Victoria throws her Louis Vuitton at the pulley system to let the rope down, and I just have a hard time thinking it could be that easy for them to escape, that Victoria has that good of aim, right? But, well, hey, I guess she does, it's TV. Now that Gothel has Anastasia on her side, she sets out for the next part of her plan. She finds Zelena at the hospital as Zelena is leaving a message for Robin, who never calls her back, and she basically tries to recruit Zelena to work with her and promises that if Zelena helps her, they can wake up Lucy without harming Henry. Sounds like a good deal, right? And we know Zelena has some wicked ways, so will she go along with Gothel? Zelena reports back to Regina and says that she did make a deal, but she's not actually going to follow through with it, and that Gothel wants the Amulet of Resurrection. They also know the consequences of that amulet, so they're not going to put that in Mother Gothel's hands. They need to find it first and maybe find a way to use it themselves. Over at the police station, Rogers is trying to figure out what the heck is going on lately from Weaver, or I'm just going to call him Rumpel since we know he's awake. Rumpel tries to explain that Eloise Gardner, aka Gothel, is not who Rogers thinks she is not a victim, and is in fact a leader of a dangerous cult, but Rogers is not buying it and wants to prove that Eloise is innocent. So he heads over to her apartment where we see Gothel hide Anastasia just in time. Rogers walks around the apartment and thinks something has to be up there, like someone has to be visiting because there's more food on the table, and yeah, it's just kind of conspicuous, and Gothel works her diversion tactics to get Rogers out of the house, though, just in time before he finds Anastasia hiding in the closet. Rogers is now convinced that Eloise is in fact hiding something, and Rumpel hands him a list of greenhouses and says that the ritual Eloise is planning needs a sacred orchid and they need to find it in order to stop the ritual. So where is this Amulet of Resurrection? Regina and Zelena search Ronnie's, and we actually learn that it used to be called Kelly and Ronnie's Pub, and they owned it together. And they discovered that the amulet is in the old stained glass sign for the bar. Victoria then shows up, of course, and has them at gunpoint and grabs the amulet and locks the sisters in. Thankfully, Zelena is an expert lockpicker. Victoria then takes the amulet to the greenhouse where Zelena was supposed to meet Gothel. Victoria thinks she can now save Anastasia and leave with her, but it turns out Gothel, of course, has other plans and needs Anastasia. Since Anastasia is the only one really with magic right now in this cursed world, Gothel makes Anastasia touch the middle of the amulet, which provides the amulet enough magic to make it work again. Gothel then erases Anastasia's memory and sends her off to rest. Victoria thinks she's done her part and can leave with the girls, but unfortunately that is not part of the plan. Remember, using the amulet costs a great price, and that price that Gothel has in mind is none other than Drizella's life. Yeah, back in the flashbacks we saw that they needed Robin's life. Here they need Drizella's life. Gothel starts the ritual to wake up Lucy, and it's time for a life for Lucy to wake up. So Drizella has to die, and it takes seeing Drizella almost die and remembering the conversation that the two had earlier in the day when they got out of the well, where Drizella revealed that she was the one who had the idea to send out the lanterns, not Anastasia, for Victoria to finally wake up and realize how awful she was to Drizella this whole time. So in her moment of redemption, Victoria trades places with Drizella and sacrifices herself.
So much time focused on one lost daughter that I didn't see one who was with me all this time. It's all right. I love
It works and Lucy wakes up, Drizella and Victoria make amends before Victoria dies, and now Zelena and Regina are wondering whose life had to be taken for Lucy to wake up. Rogers and Rumple show up to the greenhouse a little too late and find Drizella with Victoria in her arms. And now Rogers believes in this whole cult theory, and Rumple warns him though that things are about to get even darker. The episode ends with Lucy's doctor looking at the test results from the blood work, and it confirms that Henry is indeed Lucy's father, but it turns out that this doctor has been poisoned. A gloved figure then takes the test results off the desk and cuts off a lock of the doctor's hair. Dun 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 dun. Now looks like we've got a serial killer here in Hyperion Heights. I have to say, I actually kind of liked this episode better than some of the others in this season. Of course, I can't remember most of them because it's been so long, but this was a fun one, and I loved seeing Regina and Zelena work together again. I think that might be why I liked it so much, and I'm kind of hoping that now that Drizella's kind of on her own and has to be against Gothel, right, since Gothel killed her mother, that maybe she'll go team up with those sisters. I have my fingers crossed for that one. I'm also a sucker for a really good murder mystery, so I'm kind of excited about this setup. Although it does sort of remind me of the Black Hood mystery that I just went through with Riverdale Season 2, so I'm hoping that Once Upon a Time gives us a better reveal than that show gave. Now, according to Adam and Eddie, the producers of the show and the creators, there's an awake fairy tale character that is out for revenge and is killing witches, which will prove to be kind of interesting since Gothel is seeking out witches for her coven, so who will win that race? Can Gothel find enough alive witches that are powerful enough that she needs, or will this killer kill all the witches that she's trying to recruit? The producers also said that the identity of the killer will actually be revealed sooner than we would expect, so this mystery is not going to be drawn out, and it's not the major mystery of this season. So let's go ahead and see what's going to happen in the next episode with the promo.
Something awful's gonna happen.
Tonight is the night you're finally gonna give my mom true love's kiss.
There was another attack.
Someone's killing witches.
For if true love's kiss should ever break the curse, Henry Mills would surely die.
Alright, so who could this mysterious killer be? We haven't really seen Robin in Hyperion Heights, and we know she's supposedly off traveling and not returning any of Zelena's calls. She's a pretty good shot with an arrow. I don't think she'd really kill anybody, but Gothel tried to kill her, so should she be seeking revenge on these witches? Part of me also feels like it could be a character we've met before, right? I feel like that would be easiest if it's some surprise of a character we haven't seen in a while. Or is it just some new fairy tale character we have not yet met? Which I kind of hope it isn't, because I don't want to meet a ton of new characters. I feel like if Gothel does recruit new witches, we're going to see a couple new characters, but I don't need a million new characters, especially when the show is about to end. So who is this killer going to be? Hit me up in the comments and let me know all your theories on that question about the killer, and maybe who you think the rest of the witches could be. Also, what do you think of that whole Victoria redemption storyline? Do you think she earned it? Do you think that Drizella will be nicer now? Also, series finale coming up in about, 11 episodes, so who do you think is going to come back? Who do you want to come back? And what do you want to see happen at the end of the season? Leave me all your thoughts down below or on my social media. Then you can check out more of my videos right over here. And if you like what you see, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. My name's Lisa. I'm out of here for now, but I'll see you again real soon.